Good morning, everybody.
Howdy.
My goodness.
Oh, the information just keeps flowing in, doesn't it, dear?
It is so much information coming in right now. We can't keep up. And I know Alexander James, the poor woman is not even sleeping because she has so much coming in.
This is a good thing, friends.
Yes. And I want to thank Jonathan Bourne so much for sending me and alerting me to this in the first place. And then I contacted Alexander James, and she has it up on her jwvictims.org Facebook page. And I know Google Translate isn't the best in the world, so I do not guarantee the accuracy of this translation. But Watchtower is in trouble in Sweden again.
And as we develop this, we're going to point to a few things because you see, Jehovah's Witnesses, you live in a world that you're continuously told that Almighty God is with you and your organization. And yet, information that has long been withheld from you because you're not being told these things from your platform. You know, you're not being told that, you know, we have to sell our kingdom halls to cover court costs and to cover all of these fines that you're being fined for child abuse. See, you're never going to hear this coming across your platforms, and you're never going to hear stuff like this. All you're going to hear is God is with us. We're growing by leaps and bounds. And oh, brothers and sisters, the end is just around the corner. Hold tight and stay loyal to the organization.
Well, what they're going to hear, and maybe something on jw.org, how the government of this country, just like the Russian ban, you know, you're going to hear, oh, Satan's media is attacking us. Satan's world is attacking us. You know, the government of Sweden is attacking God's people. But you won't be told why.
Because you live in a dreamland. See, you think and you've convinced yourself, you've been made to believe that you're already living in a spiritual paradise because we have the brotherhood. We can go anywhere in the world and say, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you got 3 hots and a cot. This is a fantasy land. What we're about to show is a continuation of the reality of life.
Now, I'm going to put the link down below to this article, and if you click on translate, then, you know, it should translate it into your language. Jehovah's Witnesses showed films at distance from HBTQ without necessary permissions.
Without necessary permissions. And we're going to get into this. We're going to kind of show what this is really all about, because we live with this here in the United States in our everyday life.
Yeah. Now, the caption underneath the first photos is, although the community lacks the permissions required, the movies are displayed to thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses with hundreds of children in the audiences.
Oh, you mean they're being displayed without like a PG-13, PG? Oh, this movie is G. See, these are the things that we live with on a daily basis. You can't go to the movie theater without even the previews being rated either PG-13 or PG or whatever. But yet, over here in Sweden, the Watchtower Bible Craft Society is putting out these movies without a warning to the younger audiences, and they're getting busted for it.
Well, I was going to say, it's gotten so bad here in the United States that every TV show, when it first comes on, you have the rating up in the corner.
Right.
And a lot of countries are, you know, doing this now to warn you, you know, what is in a movie. I mean, even a monster movie that would have been G, you know, years ago from like the 60s or 70s has this rating now saying, you know, monster violence.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is something that all of us are very well aware of.
Because the authorities around the world have recognized just how impressionable a young mind is and the lasting results that this has through adulthood. And we're going to show a couple of things in Watchtower's literature to kind of put all this together.
Yeah, I mean, and just for example, real quick, I can remember as a young child watching the 1972 movie The Gargoyles. It scared
Yeah.
the crap out of me.
And you're still afraid of gargoyles to this very day.
But it scared the crap out of me as a kid and gave me nightmares.
It's just mythology, dear. It's just mythology. It's not real.
Well, she's laying in bed and she hears a noise and she sits up in bed and looks and hears this gargoyle at the foot of her bed. That's enough to scare anybody.
I'm going to tell you the real reason why this movie frightens the bejesus out of you.
Because they look like demons.
Well, not only that, it was filmed in Arizona, and that's where you were born and raised, in Arizona. So it like put this whole mythology in your backyard.
Yeah. But that is just a small example of how something like that, which is really a stupid monster movie, and I knew it wasn't real.
But
The effects and just seeing the pictures of this can give a child nightmares. And that is where they're going with this.
Yep.
Okay, so going on with the article. At Jehovah's Witnesses annual gathering, films with anti-HBTQ. Now that is the anti-gay in Sweden. So with anti-gay messages are displayed. Although the community lacks the permissions required, the movies are displayed to thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses with hundreds of children in the audience. They do not realize how dangerous this is for children, says Sabina Solberg. The yearly gathering of Jehovah's Witnesses begins with the conference calling on the audience not to record anything from the day for other than private use. That's why you go watch apostate videos, so you can see them.
Hey, Watchtower, there's a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses that just are not paying attention to that. That's how we get this stuff leaked to us.
About 8,000 people have gathered at the Stockholm Fair in Avslo, and I apologize for mispronouncing these. Just outside central Stockholm, the event is open to the public. It is the fourth year that Jehovah's Witnesses annual gathering is held at the Stockholm Fair, which is part of the city of Stockholm. This year, the key message is to show courage. Authorities do not respond. With well-produced films from the community's governing body, in the United States, we can see, among other things, how a woman distances a manifestation of HBTQ people, gay people. Another film shows how a little boy is treated with the fear of Armageddon, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later, which Jehovah's Witnesses see as the final battle between God and those who refuse to subordinate to God's rule. The movies and the tales are displayed on 4 large screen monitors for an audience with hundreds of children and young people. Parents do not say that it is just a movie. Without something that's actually going to happen, says Sabina Swordberg, who left Jehovah's Witnesses just over 20 years ago. You do not realize how dangerous this is for children.
Yeah.
Today she is engaged in the organization Children's Voice in a closed sect which collects testimony from people who left Jehovah's Witnesses. They have consulted both the State Media Council and the police to alert the video material that is being played during the gathering. But according to Sabina Solberg, the police have not responded. They do not realize how dangerous this is for children. 2 years ago, films were shown with families and children hiding in a basement. In the final scene, soldiers storm in with automatic weapons, she says. Looking at an action film at home as a child, the parents can comfort. If you're taking movies from Disney, parents can comfort the kids and say it's not true. But here's no comfort, and the kids get awful nightmares. Because as kids, as Jehovah's Witnesses, we're told this Armageddon is going to happen. According to the National Media Council, which has the task of setting the age limits for films to be shown to children under the age of 15, the event fulfills the criteria for a general gathering, and the films must, by law, have an age limit set by the authority.
Oh, you mean Watchtower's breaking the laws again?
Is that really a surprise?
Well, no, but, you know, here you have a Christian organization that's supposed to be law-abiding, and yet,
loving.
Across the board, they're violating laws around the world. You know, you would think that, you know, a Christian organization such as the Watchtower Bible Craft Society, who has a governing body, would be on top of these type of things. But no, again, they're failing. They're just a downhill slide all the way for the Watchtower and Babel Crap Society.
Well, they think they're above the law, just like everything else. You know, they think they're above the law. They don't have to report child abuse, even though it's mandatory in most states.
See, and that's what happens to groups such as the Watchtower and Babel Crap Society who think God is on their side, which puts them above man-made laws.
Exactly. The next subheading does not answer questions. They have pointed out to the police that the organizers of the gathering failed to seek permission to display the films. No surprise.
No.
Penalty scale for violation of the law includes prison. Not that we wish any JWs or governing body to go to prison, but if you're breaking the law, you do.
Speak for yourself.
Well,
I'd like to see those 8 knuckleheads go to prison and serve some time. It just might humble them a little bit.
Well, I'm talking about some in the XJW community. You know, those regressive elders that think that we want to see Jehovah's Witnesses beaten, jailed, raped, murdered. No, but I would like to see the governing body go to prison.
There needs to be recompense for what these guys are doing.
Yeah, exactly. When Metro talks with the press department at the Stockholm Stock Exchange, they say they do not know anything about the permissions and refer questions about the films to the community's legal department. Big surprise. Go talk to Watchtower's legal department.
Well, again, it's just another example of Watchtower pulling crap out of their ass.
Well, you want to hear their response?
Please, please.
We hope that nothing will be experienced in a negative way for anyone.
We hope.
Of course, this is not the goal of something we show, but it is our legal department that answers such questions, says Nicholas Sondel from the press department. See, and how many of us have been talking about the nightmares as children we had because of Armageddon? Even as adults, some have nightmares about Armageddon.
Yeah, and we're going to show how long Watchtower's been doing this.
Yeah. On Sunday, the Stockholm police cannot answer if they have been to the event to check if it is a breach, if a breach has been committed. And then there's a box that says Jehovah's Witnesses, more than 8 million members worldwide, distributed in 240 countries. In Sweden, there are approximately 22,000 active members in 310 congregations. Is the only religious community that has been denied state subsidy. So they're not recognized as a legal religion in Sweden. In 2017, the government said no, with the motivation that the society urges its members not to receive blood transfusions for minors.
Wow. So it's, maybe they view that as a form of child abuse, not allowing them to take blood.
Yeah, and so they're not recognized as a legal religion. And on a side note, you know, a lot in the XJW community have been bashing Russia for, you know, banning Jehovah's, have been bashing Russia for banning Jehovah's Witnesses and saying, oh, this is a violation of human rights. Okay, this goes beyond violation of just human rights. This is a violation of their law in Sweden.
Yeah.
That Watchtower is not complying. So how many other countries are they not complying with laws? So this goes beyond human rights. You know, what about the rights of those little children? You know, to be free from nightmares about Armageddon.
So we're going to show just how long the Watchtower and Babel Crap Society has been doing this. This publication entitled From Paradise Lost to Paradise Regained. And copyrighted 1958.
Now, for those of you who don't know, this was the children's book back in the old days.
Well, I remember studying this, and I remember even conducting studies from this book with my cousins at the time. But, you know, on pages 208 and 209, this is what you see.
Armageddon.
Watchtower's rendition of Armageddon, where wicked people are dying, buildings are collapsing on them. You can see the buildings collapsing, people swimming in the water so they're drowning. The earth is opening up and people are falling in. People are screaming for their lives. But you know, the interesting thing is it just dawned on me this very morning when I opened up this book to look at the picture. Notice the color. The color is in purple. The background is all in purple. And we all know that purple is a sign of royalty. So really, what Watchtower is depicting here is this is a royal destruction of the world at Armageddon.
Now, Mikey, surely they've learned since then, and since they have softened, you know,
You want to
and
bet?
they're more kinder, gentler religion
You want to bet?
/ cult.
No!
This is their new one. 2003. Page 243. Oh my God, that is even more terrifying. People running, people screaming, everything's red,
And
dead people laying on the street.
And you Jehovah's Witnesses wonder why you have such a mental health issue within your organization, because you're indoctrinating kids with this type of fear.
Fireballs coming from the sky. But I did notice that their Jesus here has a bow and arrow, like in the new convention video. Now, Joe, Runaway Slave 4747, has done an excellent video talking about this from the Revelation book. And that's why we didn't cover it, because he did such an excellent job. But I noticed in the old yellow My Book of Bible Stories, Jesus coming in the clouds with his angels has a long sword in his hand.
Yeah. And notice this time, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but this Jesus has got a crown instead of a headband. So they're not even consistent with their portrayal of who they view Jesus Christ is.
Yeah.
They're not even consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So, before I end this, I just want to say, on a very sad note, many of you may remember Joe and Tina and their family. They had a YouTube channel called XJW Experience. And they have taken their channel down, and many may not know, but Joe has cancer. And they got very bad news recently. He was in the hospital, and they thought the colon cancer was gone, but now it is in his stomach. So we're asking all of those who are still believers, please,
Well, even if you're not, wish the family
the best. We're with them, love and support, anything we can do. But please, those that, wish to include them in their prayers, we're all thinking of them.
Yes.
And we send hugs and
much love coming your way, guys,
to that whole family, because we know you're going through a very rough time. So.
And at least you know that you've escaped a destructive cult.
Yes. And your little boys will not grow up in a cult.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we love you. And
very much.
Please take care.
And it's been nice getting to know you guys through the Skyping and through Facebook, because they're on our Facebook.
Yes.
So our prayers and thoughts are with you guys.
Yes. And we know this has actually been a long, difficult time. So, and thank you, Tina, for letting me know and letting us, let the community be aware of what is going on. So even if you want to leave some love and support down below in the comments for this wonderful family. And I'll always remember, I believe it was their little 7-year-old at the time. He's like, put Mikey on, put Mikey on. So,
yes.
Love you guys. And we hope everyone has a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye.